Good morning, everyone. I'm really grateful to the organizer for providing me the opportunity to present my case in front of this august audience. So I'm going to present this case. I have named it as a nailing the ostium. I have nothing to disclose. My patient is a 53-year-old non-diabetic, non-hypertensive smoker with a history of drug refractory effort angina. His clinical evaluation was apparently non-contributory, whereas ECG showed some T-inversion in precordial leads, and echocardiography revealed no RWMA with a preserved ejection fraction with a grade 2 diastolic dysfunction. And subsequently, I went for a coronary angio that revealed the critical left main ostial disease that I'm going to show. And because of some consent-related issues, he was deferred revascularization after one week. So this is the left system. You can well appreciate over here the critical stenosis of the left main ostium. And here is the right system. Apart from an intermediate disease in the PLV branch, there is nothing that's significant. So 8 days after, he was readmitted for IVAS guided left main ostial PCI. And I went for a 7 French gel guide femoral route. And I crossed the lesion with a run through floppy and pre-dilated the lesion with a 2.5 into 12, followed by 3 into 12, and then followed by 3.5 into 8 millimeter NC balloon, even as much high pressure as possible. But unfortunately, even after the 3.5 into 8 NC with a high pressure, I couldn't find that the left main ostium could yield that much to my satisfaction. At that point, I went for the IVAS pre-run. It was an LED to left main IVAS with an OptiCross 3 French into 135 centimeter run. It is a 40 hertz IVAS system. And here you can see, this is from the mid of the LED. That's the diagonal coming in, and some amount of the concentric we can see over here. This zone, the plaque burden is not that significant. This is quite an healthy zone. The calcium is not that much of any significance. Significant plaque burden. This is the proximal LED. Now the LCX is coming into view. LCX ostium is not that diseased, but the LED ostium is very much tight and critical. This is the left main distal and shaft. You can appreciate the side wear over here around 9 o'clock. Now this is the LM ostium. It's quite a plaque burden for sure. So this is the pre-run mathematics that I've simplified in this way, that the LM maximum diameter was around 4.7, but the internal luminal minimal area or the diameter was around 2.8 millimeter. Whereas the LED is predominantly 4 millimeter maximum vessel size, and the ostium was around 2 millimeter, and the proximal was around 2.7 millimeter. And the left main distal part is around 4.5 millimeter maximum size diameter vessel, and the inner diameter was around 3.6 millimeter. So I thought of taking the Wolverine ballooning. It was around 3.5 into 10 millimeter Wolverine cutting balloon, and I inflated it up to around 10 atmosphere of pressure. And after the Wolverine ballooning, I think there is the area looks a little bit better. So then I went for a 3.5 into 38 millimeter onyx. I took onyx because I will have to blow it up to around 4.5 for the 3.5 millimeter stent. And I did the ostial flaring also. And then subsequently, I post-dilated the LED part with 3.5 into 12 and post-dilated the LM with 4.5 into 8. And this is the post-run IVAS. I've got a images snapshot for the sake of time. I'm just skipping it. And after the post-run analysis, what I found, that I could achieve of around 4.5 millimeter of left main ostial diameter with an area of around 14.5 millimeter square. And in LM distal, I could achieve up to 4.1 millimeter with an area of around 11.7 millimeter square. And in LAD osteoproximal, I could achieve of around 3.5 millimeter with an area of around 8.2 millimeter square. And in LAD proximal, I could achieve around 3.5 millimeter with an area of around 8.8 millimeter square. So as a whole, the result was quite satisfactory. This is the end result. So the post-operative follow-up is excellent and the patient is completely symptom-free. So ostium LM intervention, the definition that any lesion within the 3 millimeter of the ostium, that there are quite 3 important problems: high calcium and fibrous content, higher recoil and higher neointimal hyperplasia. There are the 8 challenges that we take care of when we deal with any ostial LM intervention, like vasospasm. We'll have to exclude that I excluded during the angiography. Poor guide support and coaxiality. Then ischemia due to pressure dampening, aorto-ostial dissection, Milan seeding, risk of dislodgement, geographic miss and stent deformation. So my take-home message from this case would be LM ostial intervention is always very challenging. Proper planning is extremely essential. Intracoronary imaging is practically mandatory in LM PCI, and we should always be very vigilant about the distal catheter tip and the proximal stent trot. And unless there is a financial issue, it is always better to take care of the area with the help of some plaque modifying gadgets like cutting balloon and others. Thank you.